But Moodley and Uriarte aren't a lot slow. It is just fractions. It'll be interesting to see just how it unfolds. We're now at 7 laps remaining. We've just gone past half distance. There's Uriarte. He's got past Rouchet, and he'll have his head down, but he knows he can't really let this fall, because these four are not mucking each other up, are they?
No,
they're not being silly about it. That was an issue yesterday. They were all over the track, all of them, and slowing each other down. But that isn't what is happening now. It's Morelli who has the advantage. Carpe, Peroni, Salmela happy enough to follow him, more or less.
And I think it says a lot. The last time around, Morelli was actually the fastest. I would love it to speak to them after the race to find out what really went on, because Morelli, my suspicion is it's him who's just absolutely pounding it out there and just basically saying, lads, if you want to win that race, you got to live with me, because I'm going for it from the get.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? So, right. So now the time screen says that Uriarte, they've closed, but only fractionally, the Uriarte Moodley on the back of Salmela. So they have gained a little bit. It'll be interesting to see. It was the fastest, his own fastest lap of the race so far for Carpe last time. When they come round this time, let's see who's setting the pace.
There's only two-time winners so far this year. It's Brian Uriarte, who of course got his second victory of the year yesterday, and Max Quiles, who got a victory in first race in Le Mans, first race in Mugello. If Morelli were to win today, he would join them as a two-time winner so far this season.
That's right.
Same goes for Carpe and Peroni, mind you. 5
different winners in the first 7 races. So it is still Marco Morelli that leads quite handsomely now across the start and finish to with there'll be 6 laps remaining.
This is just really impressive, because again, that's 144.178. Well, Peroni last time and Uriarte were just a bit quicker, but we're talking thousandths of a second. Carpe shaking his head there. I wonder if he's getting a little bit frustrated, perhaps. He's running a little bit wide. He's really trying to catch him up.
I mean, you know absolutely that looking back at Moodley and Uriarte, there's no way they are holding anything in reserve. If they can't keep in terms with this leading quartet, it's because they're absolutely maxed out. He's got his head down now. He's going to get back on terms if he can, and so will Moodley.
This is just, I mean, I'm enjoying this. It's not the most, you know, blockbuster thing we've ever seen, you know, taking lumps out of each other, turn to turn, etc., as it can get sometimes. But just what you're witnessing here is just riders absolutely on their limit, taking everything they've learned this season so far, doing a bit of homework overnight, and they're just absolutely gunning for it. This is what it's about.
Yeah, that's right, it is. And Morelli is just superb. I hope I don't curse him like this.
I know, I'm being cautious about what I say, because I don't want to scare him away.
Yeah, that's right. But, you know, how to turn your weekend around, and this is a slow-mo. That beautiful stuff, isn't it? As you say, you know, the contrasting styles of these guys. We've got Pratama's got a track limits warning. Not too many of those so far. Daniel and Pratama have had track limits warnings. A lot more track limits warnings and problems in other races today.
Yeah, exactly that. Suddenly it's more sensible from the rookies than everywhere else, seemingly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here we go then. A couple of track limits warnings there, potentially coming in for the likes of Peroni and maybe even Morelli, who seem to, the Argentinians, just cutting the chicane there. Won't spoil it, but that did decide part of the result in MotoGP earlier on, so you have to watch that as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Just going to take stock of what's happening in the chasing group. You've got Leonardo Zanni leading the way there, ahead of Carter Thompson and then Vader Pratama. Christian Daniel Jr. fighting for 10th place. Boggio, Pugliese and Danish Ramersdorf down to 14th spot.
And Morelli has a track limits warning. Now, to be honest, as you say, apart from the fact that the chicane on the last lap, I hadn't noticed him doing too much, but he's really got to watch that.
Yeah, you don't want to be getting a track limits warning. As you say, Uriarte doing as much as he can, but he's not really making any inroads on them at the moment with 5 laps to go. Rico Salmela says it's time to push on as he goes up the inside of Peroni through turn 7, then makes it stick. Very nice indeed.
Yeah. And, you know, I wonder what, you know, Morelli's doing this superbly. I wonder what Carpe and co are learning behind him. You know, because
is he giving the game away?
Well, it's, you know, it is so different to what happened yesterday that he obviously knows something that they don't know. They can chase him, but they haven't looked like being able to get past him yet.
Well, we all saw yesterday, as you mentioned at the top of the show, Peter, Brian Uriarte was watching Carpe all race long, figuring out what he was doing through the right and left-handers coming up right now to make sure he outfoxed him onto the final lap. What's Morelli doing there? Is he doing anything any different or special to the others? We're not quite seen just yet.
Well, that's right, and of course we don't know what gear they're running in, do we? You know,
no.
whether they're using the 6th or they're using 5th. As I said, and he's got on the back, hasn't he? Brian has got on the tail of them now.
He's caught
now,
him, yeah.
Yes, he's set the fastest up at 143.696.
Goodness me.
He has turned the wick up.
That's
now,
half a second
this is what we
quicker.
want to see. This is what's going to make it really exciting now. Surely he's got back onto the terms, an all-time lap record. That's what it's taken to reel in these guys. But now, yesterday's winner is with that group. It's just going to be 3 laps and a few corners to go.
He's on the prowl and he's picked off Peroni already. What can Uriarte do? Your series leader, the number 51 yesterday. He momentarily joined MXGP, doing a bit of grass tracking there. Then he had a big front end tuck, which he managed to save through sheer luck and a bit of skill, as he would attest. But here he is in 4th place then. We already had a race on, but now we've really got a race on. A 10-wheeler for the win.
He is so impressive, is Uriarte. He will have learned, he will have, you know, watched the balance, how he uses his weight, what he does at gears, corners and all that sort of thing, because he's turned it around. He was losing out, he was disappearing off the back, albeit slowly, but he was being dropped by the leading 4. He's now back amongst them.
Well, watch this run out on the back then. Morelli still able to just put a bit of daylight between himself and the chasing riders there through that double right-hander. Very impressive indeed, but watch the flow and the run through here. We are nearly 3 abreast coming through the Reskenhoek. Carpe makes his move. He says it's now, but no, Morelli rails it round the outside like a berm it was, and a mountain bike. Superb coming into the GT chicane. It's going to be 3 laps to go. Millimetre perfect by the leading quintet through the GT chicane.
And I think they kept it off the green that time, and Morelli certainly got to do that. I hope he knows that he's got the warning. He's still leading this, and Carpe's not really shown any hint of where he could get past Morelli, because Morelli, touch wood, is inch perfect everywhere.
How clever is Carpe being, though? Although, what about Uriarte, who just sneaks up the inside of Rico Salmela? That was just brilliant.
What a great shot from the onboard there. Just saw Rico drift a little bit wide, and you cannot give an inch to Uriarte because he was past.
Yeah, absolutely cracking. Here we go then, down the back straight. 2.5 laps to go. Morelli still leads the way. Will there be another jump on him? Uriarte, he's going side by side with his great mate Carpe. How about that? Is he going to get him back though? No, he's not.
Oh yes, that was absolutely wonderful, wasn't he? Just pulled out at the perfect timing, and Carpe might have got back past him, but he couldn't do it.
Absolutely quality watching this. It's 24 points the gap as the live championship there. We see that's not what it really is at the moment, depending on the race result, but Carpe cannot let his countrymen get any more points on him heading into this second half of the season. We're past the halfway point yesterday of the year. This is when you need to start bagging as many points as possible.
That's right, and you know, again, touch wood, these guys are not up for making mistakes. Carpe and you know, Uriarte are superb, as is Peroni. It's only been Morelli who's made a couple of mistakes this year, and they are looking back for a moment on Uriarte, and it's just 2 laps remaining of Rookies Cup action.
We still have thousands of fans in the stand around this iconic circuit of Assen, and they're being treated to perhaps what could be one of the races of the day in Rookies Cup. 10-wheelers to finish off the final couple of laps. It is still Morelli leading, but who's going to go on the inside this time? Will Rico pay Uriarte back for the favour he paid him last time? No.
And Brian Uriarte said that you can't go into these races with a plan. It's a waste of time, because he said as soon as the racing starts, the plan goes out the window. He said, I did make up a plan, but during the race yesterday, and that's when I realised when I had to pass and get in front and what I was going to do through those last corners. I wonder if he is now formulating a plan or not, or is it still just absolutely flat out?
It surely is. I mean, the pace they're running is still similar to what they were doing like 5 laps ago or so, Peter. It's still those low 144s. We're not seeing another lap record or anything like that, but that pace is still red hot.
It is, and no sign of tyre deg so far. And Morelli's just reeling off those laps. Absolutely perfect. Lap after lap after lap. And the others have not got to expect him to make a mistake. He's looking so cool in front. They've got to do something special.
A final mention before we wrap up onto the final lap of the chasing pack. Christian Daniel Jr. leading that one for Pratama and Thompson. Those guys having a great run out. Hope it's all clean to the end of the race. Here we go then. The dress rehearsal for the final lap. Morelli hangs it out wide. It was two abreast going in there. Peroni just off the back. He's a danger rider. Well, we're not seeing anyone showing their hand there, really, are we? It's all to play for through the GT chicane. Across the line they come. It's the final lap.
4.542 kilometres of Rookies Cup action now, a single lap, and Morelli has led it almost all the way. What have the others got up their sleeve? Uriarte is in third, Carpe is in second place. As you say, Carpe knows he's got to start racking up the wins. He can't let the points go to Uriarte and Peroni.
And Morelli knows if he wants a shot at this title, he has to win today. He has to put himself back into the frame. He has been the one controlling this pace from the beginning. Look at him, even through one turn, puts a whole bike length between himself and the others. What is he doing on this bike that they can't at the moment?
Well, that's right, he spoiled that. Oh, my goodness, a little bit. It's too close.
Goodness me.
Morelli has the advantage. He's got out ahead. Nobody can pick up his slipstream through there. He's just got to get to put together the absolute perfect half lap now.
He's just got to connect the dots. That's all it is for Morelli, and he could take his second win of the year. He's got his countryman chasing him. He's reeling him in. It looks like Rouchet Moodley could be picking up any sort of pieces that befall in front of him. And Carpe, all of a sudden, goes from second to off the back of this group almost.
And Peroni's looking good, isn't he? He's closed on his fellow countrymen. It's the two Argentines in front, and Peroni looked very, very strong. But Uriarte's there in third place.
Look at the drive Morelli got off the double right-hander there. He was superb. It's all to play for. It's going to be the final run to the line. Who's going to play it cleverest? Who's going to risk it for the biscuit and the win? Here we go!
All on the brakes. Peroni goes underneath him, but he can't. He goes wide.
Goodness
He's on the
me.
dirt. He's on it. And it is going to be Morelli. Absolute perfect run from Morelli. Carpe comes back into second place. Then Rico Salmella.
It's going to be...
It's Argentina. It's Morelli.
Brilliant! What a win that was for Morelli. No plan B. Does it again for his second win of the year. He just drilled it from lights out and he won it. Absolutely quality. Carpe second, Salmella third. Look at this run to the line. Vader gets seventh from Christian Daniel Jr. What a ride by them. And Carter Thompson in ninth. Great stuff from those guys. They certainly deserve a great result like that.
And at least they all got points for that.
Yeah, brilliant.
All of them in that group, down to Ramestor 14th. Gavin Planks was off the back of that. He scored a point for 15th.
Oh, wow, that was brilliant. I love that. That was as clean as it gets, wasn't it? Superb.
Yeah, and you know, you've got to hand it to like Peroni. He put the effort in, and it was just too much. He did tremendously well to keep it on two wheels, actually, because it all came. It all was too much through that fast left-hander.
A question I was asking myself through that, I was thinking, I was almost said, it's going to be the cleverest rider wins this one. Was Morelli clever, or was he just unbelievably fast?
Well, you know, yeah, I mean, you picked it, didn't he? You know, he did those lap times yesterday, and did he just sit down last night and say to himself, well, look, if I do, all I have to do is do that again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to win this.
Oh, Joel Pons there. Where did Joel Pons finish? Oh, bless it, 22nd, no points.
Not a point, no.
But he finished the race there, which I think is important.
Yeah.
And I don't say that begrudgingly or anything like derogatory. I really mean it. That's what he wanted to do, get a solid finish.
Well, and look, they all finished, you know, and there were only 3 track limits warning. Nobody got a track penalty. They rode their hearts out. Lap record breaking stuff. Sensational, absolutely brilliant stuff. Everybody finished.
And great stuff. I mean, great. Everyone's got to be happy with that because it was clean. I mean, Uriarte is going to be miffed that he didn't finish on the podium. But
so good for the championship, isn't it? Because Morelli, you know, he needed those points. Carpe is very much, you know, in the hunt, as is Salmella. And, you know, Moodley, I'm sure he isn't going to be happy with 6, but it's more points on the board.
This was the run to this is what happened down the back straight. Sorry. Well, Uriarte tried to get out of the way. Peroni saw his opportunity and across he went.
Yeah, that was tight, was, and that was, in a way, that's really where Morelli had it won.
Yeah.
Because they never quite got in a safe. Well, they got in the position, but they didn't get close enough to. And that's where he had to make the big move, Peroni, didn't he? He made the big effort.
Yeah.
You got to hand it. He did try.
And you got to say, we saw earlier on, Morelli round there was so fast through Rushkenhoek.
Yeah.
He was clearly giving the game away, but he was so confident with his speed. He was like, well, you've got to try and live with it, lads.
I do hope that Rouchet Moodley didn't touch the green coming through the chicane on that. He was very close to it.
Well, and
fingers crossed that he didn't.
How fast were these leading riders? 15 seconds, the gap to Pachama in 7th. Wow.
And as you know, that's a second a lap.
Yeah.
And the race yesterday, they were all in a bunch going across the line.
Brilliant. I mean, you are looking at, as we say, the next generation of riders here for MotoGP. We have Pedro Acosta on the pre-show. He is sort of the poster boy of Rookies Cup lately, really, isn't he?
Well, and as you said, you know, that is now our 6th winner in 8 races this year. The record number of different winners we've had in a year is 8. Well, we've already had 6, and we're only just going.
Well, wait, does that include Morelli got the first?
Yeah. Oh no, sorry.
His 5th is it still? Is it? He got the double win then. So he joins Uriarte and Quiles as the double winners.
Double winners. No,
but I think that goes to show, I mean, how hot and cold his season has been a little bit, isn't it, really?
So we're still on 5 winners, Getting myself confused there. Far too excited.
Well, no plan B.
Yeah.
Here it is. I mean, there you go. That's a return to the top step of the box.
You know, and you know, he won the first race, he's won this race, and in between he hasn't been on the podium in between. He's had 2